Hello everybody, my name is ManuS and welcome to another MTGCardmarket modern video series of mine. Been a little since my last modern video, but I finally decided to record some more modern, and today I have another pet deck of mine that I have been playing in various iterations for the last couple of years and sort of goes back to the old GoyfDeckWins or later GoyfDeckWins in extended and stuff like that, and even further basically to the traditional slide decks of old. It's basically somewhere between Burn and Zoo in a way, basically using its burn spells and Grim Lavamancers as sort of board control engines and clearing the path for a bunch of small efficient creatures to get in damage and eventually finish off the opponent either with those creatures or with the help of some of the burn that hasn't been used to clear the way. And I feel like in quite a bunch of matchups right now this is a particularly efficient game plan, among others against Affinity and the new Absent Company with the new Vizier and stuff like that, and the cheap burn spells are also nice against the Goblin Electromancer and Burn, and the recurring damage sources in creatures give you a pretty fast clock. This deck can easily kill on turn 4 uninterrupted. And let me explain the deck list real quick. So basically there are no Attacker's Command or stuff like that, simply because the deck sort of wants all the cards to either be threats or interaction, and Attacker's Command is neither real threat nor interaction, so I prefer actual burn spells over Attacker's Command, which can kill small stuff from the opponent. The biggest change here from stuff that I've tried in the past is Soulscar Mage. This is like a particularly welcome addition for the deck that I want to try. I didn't get to really try it yet, but in theory it should work pretty great, because I basically had Curdape's in place of this. This on average probably deals a little less damage than Curdape in this shell, but solves one of the bigger potential issues that a deck like this has in the past, which are two things basically: persist creatures, especially kitchen things, which won't come back with this, and also just big blockers opposing Tarmogoyfs, Eldrazi's and stuff like that. And the nice thing is the ability also works on stuff like Seal of Fire and Grim Lavamancers. And if your Grim Lavamancers becomes put 2 -1/-1 counters on a creature instead of dealing 2 damage, that's a pretty big deal. It is also very possible that the deck should run more than 2 Grim Lavamancers with Soulscar Mage. But for now I opted for like maximizing the prowess a bit with some extra Tar Fires for Tarmogoyf, and also for prowess, partially the instant speed for prowess and also the instant speed for some other stuff. And yeah, the other 1-drops are just Nanam Renegade, which I think is better than Curdape, especially with Gorklane Rampager, basically allowing you to deal 5 to the face and 1 to the creature blocking. And obviously the Wild Nacatl, which is just the best 1-drop in a deck like this, and 2 more Grim Lavamancers to round it out, to synergize with Soulscar Mage, team up with burn spells, or just finish off people in a stall and so on. And then the 2-drops are just 4 Eidolon of the Great Revel, which beats some reactive and combo decks almost on its own, just presents a surprising amount of damage for a 2/2 on turn 2, and Tarmogoyf just to add some more robust threats to the deck. And the deck is pretty good at growing it with Seal of Fire, Tar Fire, Fork Bolt, having, and even like Rampager, so having like a nice mix of cards to make the Goyf at least like 3/4 or 4/5 usually. And then there's the opponent that might help as well, because we only have 2 sorceries and a lot of decks play sorceries for Goyf, so we can provide some other parts. And then we have 19 lands, because the deck basically tops out at 2 mana. I had 20 for a long time, I'm currently trying 19. since the curve is pretty low, and that allowed me to like fit in a couple more spells for Soulscar Mage. And the sideboard, basically just 3 Paths to Exile for Eldrazi's and Tarmogoyfs and Death Shadows, stuff like that. Or Wormcoil Engines, that sort of stuff. All kinds of like bigger blockers to help Soulscar Mage with the heavy lifting, and also like persist creatures. But yeah, between this and Soulscar Mage, this deck should be surprisingly good at dealing with big threats compared to prior iterations of red aggressive decks. For Destructive Revelry, as answers to all sorts of stuff, basically Lantern Control, Affinity, Storm. There's so many things this card can do. I'm not 100% sure if for Revelry is correct, and if not, maybe like some Ancient Grudge or something might be a bit better against Lantern Control and Affinity, and the 2 damage might not be as relevant here as in Burn, and the utility from Grudge might, and value from Grudge might be more relevant. So I'm not 100% sure here. It also helps against fringe decks like Bogles and stuff, but let me quickly actually do that. I think I want at least 1 Grudge, since it's really nice to have your Grudge milled from Lantern Control, for example. So it's a hard out to their bridge, and also it's much better against Affinity. And if we realistically think about it, I think, actually now that I think about it, I really don't like these. Just the efficiency usually matters more in this deck than the damage from like Burn, so the other thing basically that is really good here is Natural State, basically. Since that's much more efficient, and I think we probably only want to bring in like 2 Natural State anyway against a deck like Storm, since you really don't want a lot against the Pyromancer's Ascension. You don't want to flood on these, so 2 seems like a good number. So I think the split of 2 and 2 is probably pretty good here. And Gaddock Teak is additional nice hate against Storm, against Company decks, against Tron decks. There's just a surprising amount of decks where Gaddock Teak is actually pretty good. It is possible that the deck might also want some Burnt and Forge Tender or Mutagenic Rose to help protect Gaddock. Currently I have Renegade Relia to sort of bring it back, but that might be like too slow and too weak in the matchups that you want Gaddock. This is mostly here for like value against mid-range decks like Abza and Enchant and stuff like that, and Collected Company decks. It's also really nice that it synergizes well with Seal of Fire, basically turning this into like a mini Flame Tonkavu, and can just bring back all sorts of stuff. And yeah, between like Eidolon and Gaddock and Reveler, should be hard for combo decks to get rid of all of these creatures and combo off. And then just 2 Grafdigger's Cage, mostly against Dredge, really. And you might come across one or the other deck where it's worth bringing in. It's definitely also good against Storm, which is currently in like the top 4 most popular decks online. So that's also definitely worth having for these 2 decks. Like Dredge is like 8th most played, and Storm is like 3rd most played or 4th most played. So should get some good value out of that cage. Alright, that's it for the deck list. Sometimes you just have to like make some stuff explicit to realize that that choice you made is wrong, so that's why we made this like impromptu improvement during the deck tech. I kind of like got so used to like for Destructive Revelry being like the go-to for a deck like this that I didn't really think about that like the efficiency of State and Grudge are probably a lot better in a deck like this, and also more flexible. Alright, that's it for the deck. As usual, I'm gonna hop into a competitive league with it to show it in action. So stay tuned for the first match coming up. Thanks for watching.